Whew, this helmet is hot. Everything's hot. This is gonna be a rough ride home. Rough workout today. Don't know why. Just one of those days, you know, where you go to work out or, you know, do something active and it's just not hitting like it normally does. The weights were feeling a little bit heavy today. Pretty much is the best way to put it. Whew. And it's hot. That's probably why. Because I'm freaking sweating before I even make it into the gym. Sorry guys, I need a second. Alright. We're going for it. We're good. So you know how in a previous video I had mentioned that it's hard to ride a motorcycle after working out because it's so physical, and that arm day workouts are the worst over leg days? I am feeling that on a level that's unbearable right now. I think it's just because this heat, real hot out today, real hot out today. If it wasn't already apparently obvious. So hot, dude. Just figured it out. I forgot to turn on the AC. Shoot. Turn that bit on. Turn that bit on. Anyways, I'm done pissing about. Maybe I'm just going crazy from the heat. Anyways, I wanted to quickly chat just a little bit about what I think is the best motorcycle tip that has helped me tremendously, and that I think is probably the most valuable and most universal tip for beginner motorcycle riders. So this tip is very simple. You may have seen it before. It's kind of just a motto in a sense to live by, or to ride by, I should say. It's not very like technical or anything. It's just something that you need to always keep in mind when you're riding, and it has been the most helpful for me, and it is what I have noticed to bring on the most prominent change in my motorcycling career, I guess, if you want to call it a career. But that tip is, I won't sit here and just front end this tip like it's something crazy special, because you've probably heard it, but it's basically to ride a motorcycle as if you are invisible on the road. Now, break it down a little bit. What does that mean? It means to ride like people can't see you, being invisible. People can't see you. Act as if basically you're not there. Right? So, it's hard to kind of think about at first, because you're like, well, obviously people are going to see me. You know, why would I need to do something so dramatic to become a better motorcycle rider, or to be a safer motorcycle rider? Well, unfortunately, we're not as fortunate as these four-wheeled vehicles that have 2 tons of steel around them to protect them in the event of a crash. So we as motorcycle riders have to be as cautious as we possibly can be, right? And in doing so, we have to take extreme measures and basically do stuff that seems honestly ridiculous to make ourselves safer on the road. So in that sense, what we do is we ride as if we are invisible. Now this has been so beneficial to me, because I have noticed it multiple times throughout every single close call, any single kind of encounter. Right now I'm doing it. It comes into play almost every single time you ride a motorcycle. Now don't get me wrong, people do see you when you're riding a motorcycle. Yes, it's not like you're literally invisible. That's not the point of it. It's hypothetical, okay? You should ride in a manner, your riding behavior should reflect you being invisible. All right, so basically from a technical perspective, instead of being so broad here, I'm gonna ride right now, and I'm acting as if this car can't see me that's about to turn side of the vehicle. I'm acting as if he can't see me because I'm invisible, okay? I'm acting as if this guy right behind me to my left can't see me because I'm invisible. I'm ready to either accelerate, brake, whatever I may need to do if he decides to change lanes, something like that, okay? Every single action you make and every single, you know, precaution you take on a motorcycle, you should keep in mind and be as safe as possible by pretending like that person cannot see you. Now again, like I mentioned, this is extreme concept. It's maybe being a little bit too extreme, but it has its place, okay? And this has been the most valuable to me because I've been able to actively see it happen on the road. I've mentioned it just in multiple videos where I've had a little bit of, they weren't even close calls, they were just kind of some that could have been close calls had I not been aware and riding aware. So, riding as if you're invisible isn't going to be the, you know, what's the word, what's the term for it? One-stop shop? I don't know. There's a bunch of terms that would make sense. It's not going to be the absolute most important and the only part of being a safe motorcycle rider, but for me it is the most general and broad concept that you can adopt to make yourself a good motorcycle rider right off the bat, okay? And a safer, not necessarily a good motorcycle rider, a safer motorcycle rider. And you'll hear a lot of people talking about this concept. Of course, I've learned it from other people, and so that's how I know about it and why I'm telling you guys about it right now. But it's just so important to make sure you are being safe and watching out for other people, because, you know, what comes into mind for me is that a lot of, you know, older folk, maybe not even older folk, but people that used to ride, they like to say that they weren't a fan of riding motorcycles because people on the roads are idiots nowadays. And, you know, the data is coming out now that shows, you know, most motorcycle accidents are caused by the rider and rider errors that can be corrected by proper training. And so, to blame a driver, you have to say that you have to be able to justify that you were riding as if you were invisible, okay? Because motorcycles are harder to see, and, you know, a lot of the times accidents occur because car drivers don't see motorcycles, or they see them too late, whatever the case may be, right? So this is just a fundamental fundamental concept to understand. First of all, to become a safer rider, and also just to adopt that mindset of you being in control of what happens on the road and not being, you know, at risk from others' actions. While you always are on the road, don't get me wrong, we as motorcycle riders are responsible for limiting that risk by doing the best we can to control the things that we can control. This is a concept that applies to a lot of things other than motorcycle riding, but it really does make sense when I'm talking about this riding as if you're invisible. Because if you apply this concept while you ride every day, it is going to make you more aware and more in control of the environment, because you are aware of things that are going to happen before they even happen, because you're invisible. Okay, so I know I've been kind of rambling and just maybe saying the same thing over and over a little bit, but I wanted to make sure I got my point across. You know, I hope I didn't bore you or disinterest you by talking too much, but I really am passionate about this concept, and I think it's something that everybody needs to employ in their motorcycling careers, okay? And they need to be paying attention to each and every day. So I hope this helps, and thank you very much for watching. Peace out, guys.